I knew what you were talking about, but you know, it sounds kind of silly for the layperson. Of course, I would say most of us aren't laypersons. Why you heat up the oil? To get it harder, you know. And you mentioned that if you want it a little bit harder, heat it up more because the viscosity changes.
Yeah.
And that one thing you didn't mention, I knew what you were talking about, but of course, most people, like I said, that's why your CD would probably.
Yeah. Oil warmer circulates quicker. It's the circulation of the oil going around the blade that cools it. If it doesn't circulate, you take these. There's a solid quench. It's about like cold butter. It's about the consistency of it. You stick a blade in that. Maybe somebody can make it work, and if you can make it work, go. But test it and make sure it works, and know why it works, and know how to duplicate it. If you put more chicken fat in it this time than you did last time, your next batch it'll be different. But you have to understand that. And folks will talk about an agitated quench tank, where the oil is agitated and flowing all the time. Well, okay, it's going to be different than the way I do it. Is it better? I don't know. I have so many variables that I still want to play with in this steel. Here I am, 67 years old, and I ain't got time. Okay, so I'm going to play with what I want to play with, and hope that you folks will do it, or encourage others who will do it, and will carry this knowledge forward. You read the textbooks, they talk about, well, this is a shallow hardening steel. What are they hardening? A 14-inch camshaft or crankshaft. Yeah. We're talking about a knife blade. Does shallow hardening or deep hardening steel make a difference? Huh? Not that much of a difference. They talk about cryo. If you cryo a blade, say you take a blade and you cut with it. Now I'm talking about 52100 and 5160. I don't know anything about GSX 224A, okay? But 5160 and 52100. If you cut with a blade and you get 50 cuts and you cryo it and you get 300 cuts, that tells you that you did something wrong before you cryo. You did something wrong in your forging, you did something wrong in your thermal cycles, you did something wrong way on down the line.
Or something very right.
Huh?
Or something very right. Or something very right on the second one.
Yeah. Something very right. But, so if cryo makes a big difference, a great improvement, that means that you could have done something different early on and get there and you probably have better steel. When I take a 52100 blade after I've cryed it, I put it on a steel, it feels dead to me. I don't want to touch it. It loses the life. It's different. And the best I've ever, now I can gain maybe 1% cut. Now you take 800 cuts as opposed to 808 cuts. Is it worth it? No. Okay? But then when you go to flex them, they tend to get more brittle. But maybe temper hotter, I don't know. To me, it isn't worth it to cryo. Other than to validate what you've done or a change that you've done in the front end. Have fun with it. And that's what all this is. Have fun with it. Enjoy what we're doing. Maybe learn something and spread it on. Now, I stick my neck out a lot. But I remember when young Kennedy was running for president. And he says, behold the lowly turtle, he never makes any progress unless he sticks his neck out. That's right. Yeah, I've had a lot of critics really, really lay into me. I've learned something from some of them. And some of them I've learned that they don't know nothing. Okay? But always listen to your critics. Little kids sitting there saying, well, why do you do that? Yeah. Huh. Because we always do that. When you think about what that little kid asked for a little bit. Yeah, why do we do it that way? Let's try something different there. Yeah. Pow. Another little home run knocked right over the scoreboard. Or maybe it just dribbles out toward first base. It's all waiting for us. But I do hope that some of you will join us on Life Talk Online. Share your thoughts. Ask questions. Yeah, I'm an administrator. And if some jerk gets in there and really starts jiving us around or jiving you around for what you said, all I have to do is go up and there's a little box that Jeremy gives me, and I put the arrow in there and go click it, it's gone. Okay? So, I mean, we'll listen to the critics, which is important, but if somebody's just spouting off, they're gone. Yeah. If someone offends you, let us know. We need to listen to our critics. We need to. But we don't need to listen to the jerks, the hecklers in the back of the room. So that's kind of where it's at. Any other thoughts that you folks have? Yeah.
One thing about the tape that I was wondering, you get those, when you harden it, you show the tape, you're heating it up with a torch to critical temperature. And then you just quenched it, part way up the knife, about 3/4 or halfway up the knife.
Yeah.
If you're only heating it to critical temperature down towards the blade and whatever flows over, why do you need to stop it at that particular place when you quench it in the oil?
So I want to be dang sure that sponge is not going to work.
Oh, okay.
It's just a little safety net. Yeah. I was talking about a big quenching show. Joe Zalaski was reading about cannon barrels that they were making. And they quenched them during the forging process. And increased the longevity of the cannon barrels.
Oh, there we go. I've heard people do cryogenic on rifle barrels. It's interesting that, adds about 1 Rockwell hardness to it. It does increase the life a little bit, but a couple 1,500 rounds of good rifle barrel.
There's no boy that does cryo for a living. And is he out after me. He called Rex and accused us of lying and cheating and not knowing what we were talking about and how he really went on and on. And Rex says, well, try it and see. That's all we got to do is try it and see.
Why? The big why.
But hopefully if we share information about this stuff, we'll be saving lives down the line. That Lewis and Clark expedition that I wrote, or not Lewis and Clark, but Fremont expedition that I wrote about, that really meant something to me. Digging in the frozen ground for roots to eat. Skinning frozen mules. I don't know if you ever skin a frozen animal. That's a different ballgame altogether. Anyway, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Joe, you got any, Dad?